Russell Manson. I mean, he does have the look for it, doesn't he? Can you talk about those women you were allegedly raped? In the fucking woods! In the fucking woods! That is a sad state of affairs. Your husband has just sent you a text asking for a divorce. Yeah, you used to be like a fucking junkie crack addict. No way! I covered it yesterday. So you're probably aware about the recent Russell Brand criminal charges that have been filed. Obviously, this follows on from like 2023 when documentaries came out and news articles started to be written about these new allegations that were coming out. Kind of, I think at the time it was pretty well documented. Obviously, you know, libel laws in the UK are relatively strict. Okay, you missed all of this. Don't worry, we are going to do a little bit of a recap. Okay. So 2013 documentary comes out, press is released regarding 3 credible sexual misconduct allegations, to put it lightly. And now criminal charges have been filed just in this past week regarding, I think some of it is like sexual harassment, some of it is like already raping a woman. There's 4 different incidents that are being charged. Anyway, I reviewed his Instagram reel that he put out about it. He basically just said that, oh, I'm so glad that nobody trusts the British courts anymore. I'm so glad that people are starting to see what the British government does to people who speak out against it. Okay. So that's the line of attack you're going. But I did notice today, okay, about 5 hours ago, he started up a stream and then decided he was going to tell people the truth about what's happening in the UK. Okay? Give me a second. I'll go ahead and fire this up. There we are.
Hello there, you Awakening Wonders. Thanks for joining me today for Stay Free with Russell Brand. And how long will I be free for? Wherever you're watching this, X, YouTube, ultimately we want you to make your way to Rumble and Rumble Premium. If you get Rumble Premium, you're supporting us and you get to participate.
Oh shit, yeah, because am I wrong? Did he get demonetized on YouTube? I could be wrong with that. I'm pretty sure he did. But I'm guessing it's because of conspiracy theories around a particular virus, perhaps.
Participate in the glorious lineup that includes Tim Pool, Crowder, but Glenn Greenwald, Kim Iverson, so many free speech advocates. We'll be talking about the UK today and free speech in the UK. We're of course going to talk about the protests across the United States of America. We're going to be talking about Trump's tariffs, and I'm going to address as best I can the
As best I can. Oh dear, not beating the sex addict allegations. Which, to be clear, is also a part of his lore, okay? Is part of his history. He's got grape on the mind. He's got grope on the mind. But yeah, he did at one time claim to have a sex addiction. He admitted himself he had a sex addiction. He went in for treatment. I believe that was in the early 2000s. Although allegations have, cropped up since then. And so the question is, did he ever really get treatment for it? Or, anyway.
The charges of sexual assault and rape in the UK that have been made against me. What I feel when looking at it with my heart as open as I can manage is that knowing that there are people that to whatever degree and for whatever reason willing to participate in a venture of this nature means that I recognise that I must have in some ways caused harm. In those giddy and hedonistic days,
That's an interesting... Okay. That's interesting. So he's admitting that he probably has caused some harm. Okay, the thing is with Russell Brand is he's very charismatic, and in terms of how he presents himself, it's very, very kind of curated and planned out, and it's very fake, I suppose. But that's interesting that he's going with the line, I may have caused some harm. I didn't expect that, okay.
Those ludicrous dark days, those days where I was part of a culture that then seemed to warmly applaud and celebrate Epicureanism, the relentless pursuit of pleasure, a kind of casual godlessness, the kind of godlessness that leads to the erection, forgive the word, of false gods everywhere. One minute this is your idol, the next minute this.
Oh yeah, so if you don't know as well, he used to be like vaguely spiritual and like said a lot about Buddhism and stuff. Now he's like hardcore Christianity and then blames a lot of like his past foibles, should we say? He blames a lot of his like past foibles on the on the fact that he wasn't a Christian, but he now is. So don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Is your idol. Fall down, bow down, and worship at their corporate and consumer altars. When I was in that world,
Also, I want to say, okay, I'm going to correct a little bit of misinformation about ancient Greek philosophy. Epicureans were hedonists, okay? But they thought that the way that to get like ultimate pleasure was to like deprive yourself of everything. So like drinking only water, eating only bread, you know, just like chilling out all day and not really doing anything and just living a completely dull life because they had very weird fucking philosophies, which I don't think Russell Brand was exactly following. I don't think you'd ever find an Epicurean, for example, like in ancient Athens, injecting heroin or like smoking crack. But you know, anyway.
must have been captured by a kind of darkness. But remember, for 22 and a half years, I've been drug and alcohol free, and I have a pretty good memory of accounts. And I also know that I am a person that very much respects the idea of consent. And I pray that over the coming months, when I participate with full volition and total cooperation in any legal inquiry, we'll get to see how the justice system operates in the United Kingdom. We'll get to see what the relationships are between various organisations. To list a few, the CPS, the Met, the Times, Channel 4. We'll see if there are any...
What, the CPS, the Met and the Times?
...organisations. To list a few, the CPS, the Met, the Times.
So the CPS, if you're not aware, is the Crown Prosecution Service. The Met is the Metropolitan Police Service, which is the London Police. And then the Times, obviously, the newspaper. So I guess he's vaguely alluding that this is a conspiracy from multiple institutions against him. I mean, I don't know. This doesn't really fly, okay? This doesn't really fly. Because it was the Times, the London Times, Channel 4, and how many other newspapers have reported into this? How many fucking sexual misconduct allegations has he had over the years? I don't know. It's like Jimmy Savile returning now. There's another fucking, like, evidenced claim or whatever. He returns to life, okay? And then there's new claims about kids that he's raped. And he's like, there's a conspiracy against me. We're going to see how the British state... We're going to see how the British state really operates during this trial, okay? My good name has been besmirched. Let's go.
Channel 4, we'll see if there are any unusual relationships between some of those organisations. It's difficult not to reflect that indeed the people participating in this are victims of a type, but not victims of me, because I've always been open. You can go and watch my stand-up comedy, you can read my book. I couldn't have been more clear that I was out there having sex with anybody who wanted to. And let me tell you, when you're a famous guy, people are up for it. People are up for it. I've got to be honest with you. That was part of the reason I even bothered becoming famous in the first place. Because
okay. So, I guess what he seems to be alluding is that, like, I was having so much sex, and so many people wanted to have sex with me, there was no point in raping anyone. Which was interesting. I mean, he is quite open that he used to have, like, serious sex addiction, and used to have, like, crazy, like, sex parties and stuff. But you're talking about it being, like, crazy and hedonistic, and you're very open about your drug use as well. But then you claim to have a total recollection that all of these encounters were consensual. So how can you admit that there may have been some harm? Oh, then I must have hurt these people somewhat. I mean, I completely remember everything that I did. I've got a very clear recollection of everything that happened over 2 decades ago. But no. I never violated anyone's consent. I feel like you've engaged in a risky lifestyle. You've ended up hurting other people by your own admission. You probably have ended up hurting other people. And now what? You've got 4 claims that have reached, like, a certain credibility that the Crown Prosecution Service is bringing them against you, a public figure, while you live in another country. Okay.
I thought this will be a glorious opportunity for hedonistic adventure. Surely then my life will mean something. Surely I can find some value in the comfort of strangers. Surely I can lose myself in endless pleasure. Well, you know, as a follower of Jesus Christ, I recognize that sex is a very, very powerful force. In fact, it says in the Bible that sex should only be practiced within the confines of a loving marriage because the force is so, so powerful. There's no question about that. I've learned a lot, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to tell the truth, to participate in a process of reconciliation and healing.
To be fair to him, okay? To be fair to him, I guess to his credit somewhat, he has been quite open with like complying with at least now it's gone to court with the prosecution and with the court proceedings, because I think he's due to appear in court. It's either tomorrow or it's on the 13th, I think. And so, is he still in America now, or is he heading over? Oh no, fuck. For you guys, because it's just gone past midnight for me. So for you guys, it's going to be the 7th. Okay, in 2 days. I'm guessing he's going to fly over to London soon. But he has complied with it. He's not trying to like run away, probably because he knows that he would probably expect an extradition order. But hey ho.
Know in the comments and chat if you think that the United Kingdom judicial system and media is capable of delivering that. Obelia, sex without love is empty. True Pancake, Christ is king. Buddy one.
I wonder why he's streaming on Rumble. I wonder why he's streaming on Rumble, dude.
05, don't worry, Russell. The modes in the UK are blatant, given the historical context. It is pretty extraordinary the way that these events have worked out chronologically, isn't it? It's pretty interesting because most the allegations, just so you know, the charges, in fact, relate to events between 1999 and 2004. You probably won't.
Which, as you just said, okay. You've been drug and alcohol free for 22 and a half years. 22 and a half years, which takes us back to 2002, 2003. So, during your heady, hedonistic, giddy days, it seems to line up by your own admission, no?
Haven't even heard of me until, I don't know, 2005, 2006. You know, so it means that when you heard of me, these things are already alleged to have taken place. So all the time that I was married to...
So your excuse about having free sex with everybody was just like, what, not true then? It was like totally fucking irrelevant. Interesting.
Perry, all the time that the Me Too movement was happening, all the time, remember when I was talking openly about the coronavirus and the corruption during the coronavirus era and how the media lied to us and shamed us and tried to control us, how companies like Pfizer and Moderna...
I will say there may well be people, okay? There may well be people who you think can like credibly speak out on like, you know, like I guess an unhealthy consensus that's formed around certain topics. But unfortunately, Richard Branson is not one of them. Like, wholeheartedly just buying like Russian propaganda with regards to like bioweapon labs in Ukraine, and just asking questions, and then never putting forward like an actual fucking argument. There are people who are intelligent who maybe can question like common narratives and like unhealthy consensuses. Russell Brand is absolutely just not one of them.
Made record profits. How the UK inquiry...
Did I say Richard Branson again? Russell Brand. Fuck me.
COVID was...
Dude, I'm gonna get summons for a fucking a libel lawsuit from fucking Richard Branson. I'm saying his name too much in relation to this.
How people like Anthony Fauci ought to be regarded as criminals. How we have to have an open debate about the causes of war, whether they're the Middle Eastern wars or wars between Russia and Ukraine.
God.
It's interesting.
And it's just what? It's just the most retarded questions as well. It's like, oh, we should like have an open discussion about the causes of war. Like, okay, I think we do have an open discussion already. Like, it's not the 1970s, and this isn't the fucking Vietnam War. You can have an open discussion. You can say whatever the fuck you want. You're gonna get taken to a fucking CIA black site for saying that the US shouldn't be in Palestine, or saying that the US shouldn't be in Ukraine. It's totally retarded.
Interesting to me that once I was on the radar of the deep state...
This is the problem, though. Oh my God. This is the problem. He's saying that I'm facing prison. Here's the truth of what's going on in the UK. And then he's talking about all of his, like, retarded political opinions to, like, throw it off, essentially. Or why are we talking right now about the reasons for war? Why are we talking right now for the reasons for war if this is your contrite, serious, solemn, here are the allegations against me, here is what I'm answering to, okay, here's my side of events. It just seems like he just wants to blab about his retarded political opinions.
And many of their affiliates within media, because the media and the government are not separate entities. The media and the institutions of power are not separate entities.
This is... Okay. Let me just go... fuck. I didn't realise that I'd have to pull this up, but it's perfect that I've got a source ready to fetch. Where is the press announcement regarding the Richard Branson things? Hold on. Here we are. So let's listen to the last bit we heard there.
And many of their affiliates within media, because the media and the government are not separate entities.
Okay, so here's the here's the UK government warning the media that if they do talk any more about Richard Branson's allegations, they may be subject of contempt of court charges. Following the airing of Russell Brand in Plain Sight Dispatches on the 16th of September 2023, there have been extensive reporting about Russell Brand, the Attorney General, the Right Honourable Victoria Prentice, King's Council Member of Parliament, wishes to amplify... Do I keep on saying Richard Branson? Russell Brand, Russell Brand, Russell Brand, Russell Brand. Fuck! Continues to amplify the importance of not publishing any material where there's a risk it could prejudice any upcoming, any potential criminal investigations or prosecutions. Publishing this material could amount to contempt of court. Okay? So this is the Attorney General, a member of the government, saying that publishing such things, the media, could result in contempt of court. Would it be brought by the Attorney General? Or would that then be brought by the legal system, which is, again, a separate organisation, a separate entity? Totally retarded. I mean, this is just political brain rot for people who don't really understand how the government works. Or really, realistically, for Russell Brand. I mean, he talks about it so much. Is it more likely to be, like, he knows, but he doesn't care, and this is just a retarded, like, yarn he's spinning? Probably the latter, in my opinion.
The media and the institutions of power are not separate entities. We know that now. We'll start off by looking at the United Kingdom. If you are a UK resident, how do you feel in the UK right now? How do you feel about the rape gang crisis?
All right. Oh,
how
not good about that.
There's going to be no inquiry.
Why are we talking about rape gangs?
Into the rape gang crisis in the UK.
There's what?
That there's going to be no inquiry into the rape gang crisis in the UK.
We had one. We already had one. The question politically is whether we need another. So, I mean, this is The Guardian for what it's worth, right? This 2022 report, there's an earlier report from 2014. I mean, yeah, to say that it's a cover-up is technically correct, okay? To say that there's a cover-up is technically correct. But it depends exactly on what you mean. Because it is a very it's a very contentious meaning, okay? It's a very contentious meaning, but we've already had inquiries. When the UK government doesn't know what to do about something, or when something's like a matter of public interest, it just... The government just, like, always has an inquiry. That is their first option. Like the Iraq War. People say there's, like, a cover-up with regards to that in the UK. We've had, like, 17 fucking inquiries about it. This is the thing, and this is kind of why I kind of like the way that we do our governmental system. Is, like, these inquiries are, like, a relatively commonplace thing in politics. But, okay, sorry, this is the person we're getting our political advice from. Okay.
But there is time and evidently resources to look at alleged incidents, in my case, 20 years ago.
What? Okay, so you're talking about how there's never been an inquiry. You're talking about the fact there's never been an inquiry about the grape gang stuff, which is wrong. There's been multiple, and then relating that to the courts and the prosecution service pursuing charges about you, following on from a 2023 investigative report. Okay.
25 years ago. And by the way, I don't believe in that statute of limitations stuff. I think if someone committed a crime 20 years ago, 30 years ago, if a crime was committed, the person should be held accountable. Justice. I believe in justice. I believe in integrity. I believe in...
If somebody raped my daughter, I hate rape, guys. I know I'm being accused of this, okay, but I hate rape. I think all rapists should be killed. I mean, okay, dude. I mean, virtue signal harder. Maybe somebody will believe you.
Truth. Why? Because I believe in God. I believe that we're here to love one another, but I don't believe the media believe that, and I don't believe the institutions in democracy in the United Kingdom are acting like truth, freedom, and the sanctity of the human spirit are a priority right now. Do you believe that? Let me know if you're watching this in the UK. Let's have a little look at this.
Do I believe that the sanctity of life, that freedom, and that loving each other is like at the heart of
This stuff? Yeah, what do you like?
I mean, how could you even... This is the annoying thing about people like Russell Brand, is you could talk about that question, right? You could talk about the question, how do you even have a solid answer? Either way, it's such a vibes-based, like, do you feel like the government wants to, like, promote love and the sanctity of the human spirit? It's like, I mean, maybe. I don't, what does that even mean, right? He fumbled Katy Perry. Didn't he divorce her while she was on tour? She's about to go on stage, and she gets a text from Russell Brand. Let me see if I can find the clip. Am I going to get copyright fucked? I'm going to turn it down low. While she was recording a movie too. I mean, yeah, if you're gonna treat your, well, girlfriend, if you're gonna treat your wife awfully, okay, I'd say, a little bit of advice from me, okay, from experience, the best time to do it is probably not when there's cameras surrounding them, and there's people there to be like, wow, let us document this, what a fucking freak, right? She could have been happy with the sex pest hippie freak, I don't know. That is a sad state of affairs. That is a sad state of affairs. Your husband has just sent you a text. Your husband has just sent you a text asking for a divorce. And you're stood there with with fucking lollipops on your tits, fucking twiddling around. Oh my, I feel so bad for her. I feel so bad for her. This was her peak era, not for her it wasn't. I don't think it was for her. Oh my god. Sorry, Russell, go on.
Charges would appear from deep history. I acted hedonistically, knowing that in retrospect it would all pay off. But what I have to remind myself, it's weird, because if you're a trending topic on something like X, and if you are watching us on X or YouTube or wherever you're watching us, remember, you're going to have to watch us ultimately on Rumble. It's difficult not to get sort of solipsistic and narcissistic and think that you're kind of significant and important. I recognize that my only significance and importance is one of the operators in new media space that present a radical threat to patterns of communication that were long established. They were established with the Associated Press. They were established with the Trusted News Initiative. There are organizations and institutions that ensure that the information you receive is pre-chewed and doused in fluoride or whatever temperate chemical.
Cult leader vibes. I mean, he just speaks so rapidly, it's hard to even, like, digest or, like, scrutinize exactly what he's saying. But this is, like, he just vaguely alludes at this, and then never actually says anything about it. I'm guessing that he's just vaguely alluding at it every show, because no way am I watching every fucking show that he does. Jesus Christ, you couldn't pay me to do that.
Is required to keep you docile. So in a sense, I recognize that I'm not really significant other than the accidents of my circumstance, that I happen to be on YouTube relatively early, that I happen to be...
You're not... Okay, I mean, that's fine. Can you talk about those women you were allegedly raped? I think you were probably significant to them. I mean, they're trying to They're giving witness. They're giving testimony in a trial like 2 decades later. I feel like, oh fuck, okay. Russell Manson. I mean, he does have the look for it, doesn't he?
Talking about the coronavirus relatively early. Individuals like me, they come, they go, hedonistic people that appear in movies and comedians that are a bit outspoken, disposable. What's important is our ability to communicate openly and truthfully and to be able to rely on principles like authenticity, integrity, and justice.
This guy is talking about authenticity. This guy's talking about authenticity. I don't know if I've ever seen Russell Brand be like authentic on like on anything in my life. It feels like he's like playing himself constantly. Do you know what I mean? It's like Russell Brand as Russell Brand. But that's like every video he ever does.
Can we rely on them in the...
He couldn't even say authenticity without stuttering.
Our ability to communicate openly and truthfully and to be able to rely on principles like authenticity, integrity...
Is he reading off a script right now? He must be.
Integrity and justice. Can we rely on them in the UK right now? Firstly, let's have a look at this woman, what's her name? Lucy Connolly, that's been jailed for a tweet. This is a response to a Joe Rogan post. After learning of the murder of 3 young British girls, Lucy Connolly... I suppose the more power that's afforded to the institutions of government and power...
I swear to God, you could go to any point in this, any point in his videos, and he could literally just be talking about anything. You've got no idea what he's talking about, because it's all the fucking same. It's so fucking dull.
And in the past, while I lived within the jurisdiction of a broken, and I would say ultimately... I don't want to say evil, but somewhat diabolical culture, that I participated in ways that were...
Yeah, you used to be like a fucking junkie crack addict who was like sex addicted and like probably, you know, allegedly, maybe, as a joke in Minecraft had AIDS, you know. But, okay.
Fair enough. You're entitled to that opinion as well. Man, some days I wish that I wasn't. I will tell you that now. We're going to be streaming wherever you are on YouTube. Here's Trump. He's a variety of colours depending on where you
No way. No way. He's talking about Trump being different colours on different... Okay.
Trump and MAGA. Let us know also how you feel in the early part, the first sort of quarter of the...
Does he talk about his rape anywhere, or is this just clickbait?
Encouraging Congress to deploy reciprocal tariffs, mass compliance, and now total and mass distrust. We're still in the anti-establishment echo of the pandemic and all that was revealed during it.
Oh my God! Wait, he's going to talk about the tariffs, and he's going to talk about the economy.
So let's have a look at how.
Okay. I wasn't going to look at his political stuff. I was going to skip past that because I feel like I've been baited into it. But I am actually interested because I know he has direct ties to the Trump administration. I think I've heard that he's supposed to be speaking at an event organized by JD Vance in I think it's like a week or maybe a few days, maybe a week, 2 weeks, something like that. Let's have a look.
Colbert talks about Trump's latest economic moves, and let's see if he has
economic moves. Trump's latest economic moves. It's a very polite way of phrasing it.
Activity that you would like of a late night talk show. Curiosity in you that we've totally normalized the idea that financial stability and the control and success of the markets is the only metric and measure by which we can govern and control a nation.
Why does everyone care about the economy, guys? Why does everyone care so much about the economy, guys? Isn't there more to life than money? Isn't there more to life than money? I wonder what his take was when everyone was complaining about the economy under the pandemic. I wonder what his take was then. I wonder what his take was then. Okay. So, who cares about the economy, guys? Okay. So, maybe it's not that bad. Why is it maybe good?
Do you ever inquire of yourself or the people that communicate to you, particularly through centralized media? There might be other... Centralized?
It's Stephen Colbert getting his talking points from Biden. Okay.
ways of living. Does it ever occur to you
No.
that the pendulum
Stephen Colbert and the rest of the centralized media, okay, they wouldn't be talking about the largest financial collapse since the last global pandemic. They wouldn't be talking about that unless there was some nefarious influence, some shadowy, behind the scenes, taps on the shoulder, some talking points issued, perhaps. Why is everyone so interested about the economy collapsing? Why does everyone care about this?
of yourself or the people that communicate to you, particularly through centralized media, that there might be other ways of living? Does it ever occur to you
In the fucking woods? In the fucking woods? I mean, he does look a little bit like Ted Kaczynski. Maybe that's where he's going now. Who knows, Russell Brand might be advocating that Republicans totally disconnect themselves from the economy. Not just the global economy, even the local one as well.
The pendulum swing between left and right, whether that's in government institutions or media outlets, is a relatively small piece of the potential pie. That there might be acres, fathoms of unexplored territory spiritually that could be deployed, unmasked, and explored when it comes to how we live. Do you know that new models...
So I'm guessing he's saying, like, why does everyone care about the economy? And why does nobody ever consider that there might be... I'm guessing he's alluding to, like, something outside of something out of the Overton window that might work? But he's talking about spirituality? What, are you talking about fucking breatharianism? Where you don't have to eat? Where you don't have to eat or drink? Because Brahma flows through you and nourishes you? People, what about the eggs, Russell? Russell, what about the eggs? Dude. Oh my god. If you ever heard of this from a Democrat during the fucking pandemic, I can't imagine they wouldn't have just been roundly criticized, even from their own side. He's vaguely endorsing socialism, but he's retarded, so his explanations about finance capital never make sense. Yeah, he has. Well, he talks about socialism in the same way that every economically illiterate, retarded, kind of airy-fairy kind of retard has ever talked about socialism. But yeah, kind of true.
May yet emerge. That as long as you see that which is measurable as the only means by which we can govern, that we will remain controlled by the limited purview of people that control institutions of finance, institutions of media, institutions of online communication, that will always benefit from further censorship, will always advocate.
Why are we talking about censorship now? The economy is on the brink of collapse, Russell. People are going to starve and die from exposure. They're going to die from exposure because they've been chucked out onto the street because they can't afford eggs. Why are we talking about censorship now?
For more and more control that will ultimately always attempt to curtail and incur against your personal sovereignty.
I mean, yeah, all he says is buzzwords. I mean, like it or not, okay? Like it or not. This is why this is so, annoying as, a way of even thinking about politics or conceptualizing it. Because, yeah, we do like measurable outcomes. Because if we target for immeasurable outcomes, how do you know if you've succeeded or not? I mean, this is the whole thing. Is attacking, economic, factors or economic indexes, or indices, rather. Or, any kind of measurable outcomes. Presumably because there are no measurable outcomes of success for this. I'm wondering how... I wonder if he can tell us how it's had any good influence. What do the comments say? I'll go to them afterwards. If they haven't been turned off, we'll see.
You awaken to a spiritual perspective that suddenly you see in lurid and clear light the depth of hypocrisy and corruption within these institutions, and what limited fare you are offered at their corrupt and hypocritical smorgasbord, a beggar's banquet indeed. There could be so much more. We could live in such glory. We are attuned to such beauty. The possibility of salvation is within us all.
Okay. I'm not talking about political ranting. Let's have a look at the comments. This book's a perfect example of he's causing trouble How do we shut him up? I know. We'll accuse him of 1.5k likes. 1.5k likes. That's insane. Doesn't anyone find the timing of this hideous? As soon as Russell Brand moves to the right, now they all go after him. He's been on this grift for years. He's been on this grift for years. I mean, he says in this video just how much he was like talking about COVID back in the day, right? That was 5 years ago, moron, okay? I need to stop saying the arsler, okay? I also need to stop swearing as much. I've been told off for this. I've been told off for this. You fool. He was talking about this all the same stuff 5 years ago, you fool. I need to be mindful of it, okay? It didn't happen when he became rich and famous. Didn't happen during Me Too. Well, there were allegations when he was rich and famous. Didn't happen during Me Too. Okay? Only happened when he went against the system. Transparently false. As far as I'm concerned, this is a man being persecuted for standing up for the rest of us against a corrupt state. Okay. Howdy, Marcus. 1 second. I want to go to the newest comments, because I wonder if... usually, if you want to find dissenting comments, just go to the newest. The government here is mirroring the Biden administration. Corruption is rife. Absolutely disgusting. Oh my... This is insane. Unfortunately, it comes down to the lawyers. If yours good enough... Is yours good enough? If theirs not corrupted? Is yours good enough? Is theirs not corrupted? Then there's Trial Bay Media. Okay. I don't know why I'm trying to read. There's somebody quoting a Bible verse. Nobody is without sin. Dude, I wonder how John 8:7 is going to fly in court. I wonder. Your Honor, I may have raped. But is there a man among us who was not? Is there a man among us who was not? Are we not all rapists in the eyes of the Lord? Dude. Okay. That's that over. I mean, what did I even expect him to say? Completely. Oh, dude. Very infuriating. Very slithery. Very snaky. He doesn't even talk about the specifics of the allegations, which is fine. To be clear, I don't think that if you're implicated in some legal process and you're a public figure, I don't think you're all obligated to talk about it. But maybe it's questionable just how authentic you are if you don't.